Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel once again. This is Dharanz. In this video, we're gonna look at how to build a basic tabs using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's a simple concept, but there is some customization and tweaks needed behind the code. Let's see how we implement it. Before implementing, I would like to show you what an end result will look like. This is an end result. We have three tabs: home, product, and contact. Whenever we click, the respective description and header should be show up in a tab content, and the tab target should be selected, and we hover the tab will be change its background. This all comes under CSS. Let's get started and see how to implement it. As you can see, we have three files in here: HTML, JS, CSS, and we're gonna play with these files. And right hand side, the project is running lively. First of all, I'm gonna create a simple unordered list and the description. We're gonna map the data tab target and the data tab content together in order to make sure it matches with the respective data when we click the tabs. So exclamation enter chosen here, it's tabs. Make sure you are importing JS and CSS in this HTML. For a JS, you're gonna say source should be index.js. Make sure you place as deferred. This keyword makes the JavaScript will load after the HTML DOM element has been loaded. And link, when you say CSS, it will import for you. And I'm gonna create a simple unordered list. The unordered list has home, and product, and contact. And I'm gonna create a description for them, a content. The content takes a div with an ID of tab content. Inside the tab content, I'm gonna create another div for each and every tabs that we want. That takes home. It takes h1 tag. H1 tag has home, the title, and some description. Cool. Now I can take this. This goes for product. Sorry, this for contact. This is product. Now, as this is a tab, I'm gonna set this as data tab target. The target takes a content of 90. This goes to all three, 8 for product and 8 for content, and this one takes data tab content. Once you save it, refreshing it, you can see our unordered list and our description as well. So here, now when you click, nothing will happen. We're going to implement a JavaScript functionality to enable and disable it. In JavaScript, we're going to take all the tabs and looping it up, and we're going to create a click event for each and every tabs. Whenever we click, we're going to enable, disable respective tab content. For that, I'm going to create tabs. It comes from document.querySelector. It takes data tab target. I'm gonna loop data tab target. Tabs. It's a tab. For tab, I'm gonna create an event listener for the click function. Inside the click function, I'm gonna take each and every tab target and give a class called active, and we're gonna handle enable disable functionality from the class itself. So const target document.querySelector. We're gonna take a tab dot dataset dot tab target. And for target, we're gonna set as class list as active. Once I save, go ahead, refreshing it. When I click, nothing will happen. We're gonna implement enable disable functionality for this active class in the CSS. Go to CSS, data tab content must be display none and the initial stage. Whenever it's active, I'm gonna display it. So when you click home, the home will be displayed. When you click product, it will display contact. But the issue is everything displays once. Once we click the product, the another tab content will be disabled. So we're gonna implement a JavaScript functionality to do that. In JavaScript, I'm gonna take a tab contents and looping it up whenever one tab content is enabled, another one should be disabled. So I'm gonna take here as constant tab content. The tab content also takes this query selector off. Instead of tab target, I'm gonna set here as data tab content. In data tab content, we're gonna implement the same. I'm gonna loop it up at tab contents. Dot range should be a tab content. Inside the loop, I'm gonna remove a class list for this particular tab content. Tab content does class list remove this active. Once we say run it, when you click home will be visible, product, and contact. Working of the charm. If that is a default tab content that you want to set, you can simply say a class as active. It will be by default. If you put this class as active for a product, it will be a product description as default class. So I'm gonna set this to home. Our functionality has been over here. We're gonna implement some changes in CSS to make it look appearing better. Before going with CSS, I'm gonna implement some of the class in here. Class called tabs, and these are all the class called tab. Going CSS, I'm gonna first say a body margin is equal to 0 and padding is equal to 0. Once you set margin 0, everything will be 0. And to get rid of this bullet points and make these as a single line, we can say tabs display flex, and the justify content should be space around. Once you see space around, it is already looks good. To get rid of this bullet points, we can say this style type is none. Cool, we got rid of it. And we could say bottom PS solid 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 0 mentions as a black. And say enter, it will be nice and clear. And we're gonna set margin as 0 and padding as 0. So it will make us a good look. This is looks fine. And the content part is indent to the body outer line. We're gonna make this as a center a little bit. For a tab content, we're gonna set a margin as 20 pixel. It will pull to the right. So when we hover, it should be a pointer, and we should make a select. Should when if the tab is selected, it should be changed as a background color. It should show to the user that this particular tab has been selected. For that, I'm going to implement a tab. The cursor should be pointer, and padding should be 10 pixel and 3px for the nice look. Here you can see the padding is good and the cursor is also a pointer. When the tab is active, the background color should be AAA. It's a nice looking gray. And when we hover the tab, we're gonna set as CCC. It's a nice dark gray. When you hover, oops, should be colon. Okay, when you hover, it's a gray, and when you select, it's not in here. It should be dot. When you hover, it's been here. When you select, it's not keep selected as we expected, because we got to set once the tab is being selected, we have to make sure that as a default tab. So here in HTML, we're gonna give this class to the home as well to make this as selected. But here we have an issue. When you select other product, the product will be, when you select other tabs, the tab will be changed, but it's not selected yet. Here we're going to implement some JavaScript functionality to make to remove tabs instead of a tab content active classes. For that, it's really simple. You're going to do exactly copy this tab contents. Instead of tab contents, you're going to do as a tab. Here is also tab. Here instead of target, you're going to put a tab. Once you do it, once you select it, everything looks like what we have seen before. Now this is a basic simple functionality, but there is much more code needed here, and we can simplify the code that we can look at in next code simplify section. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you have any questions, comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to get my latest video updates. Thank you.